all you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here, and today I'm coming at you with an impromptu toy review. So this morning I happened to venture out and hit up my local Target store. Wasn't really expecting to find too much, but to my surprise, I actually found brand new product on the shelves. I mean, can you believe it? I didn't even have to go and find a Target employee and ask them to check the DPCI number or go in the back and bring them out or anything like that. I just simply walked to the toy aisle and there was new product, including the brand new, G.I. Joe classified Target exclusive Major Blood figures. They had quite a few of them there. Hasbro definitely seems to be finally getting Target to carry those in decent numbers. So if you haven't found that one yet, you definitely should start checking your local Target. And then I also, to my surprise, found this brand new Masters of the Universe Revelation Masterverse Deluxe Skelegod figure. So this is based on the brand new Netflix Kevin Smith series, the animated series that's coming to the streaming service next month. And this is actually the first figure in this line to hit shelves. It is hitting Targets across the country. Now, originally in my news reporting to you guys, I said that these figures were going to start seeing release here in the US at Walmart stores. Apparently, my information was a little bit off in that fact. I don't know if it was off or something just changed. But either way, these are actually going to start hitting Target stores first, not Walmart. Now, as far as I know of, these won't really start showing up anywhere else until August. But for the most part, starting out, it is Target. Target is the place to go to find these. And right now, specifically, you're just going to find the Deluxe Skelegod. I've not seen any reports of any of the other items being found. Battle Cat will be coming very soon, probably within the next few weeks, early July. And then I have found a DPCI number for the single release figures, but I don't have any release dates yet. So I'll put that DPCI number in the video description below. But again, I don't know when exactly the regular figures are going to be for this line are going to start hitting shelves. But for today, let's go on and take a closer look at this brand new figure. The trailer premiered last week, which we've talked about. We talked about Sunday in the live stream, and I definitely thought was pretty cool. I think we even got a glimpse at Skelegod here. So the packaging for this line is pretty basic. You've got some blue colors up at the top, and then it gets more of a blackish color towards the front. You've got the big window box. This is a deluxe figure. It does cost more. It's going to cost you $30. It is in a little bit bigger box. You've got the Revelation logo down here at the bottom. This is for the new Kevin Smith series. You've got the name of the character. You've got the Mattel logo. And then up here in the corner, because it is a Netflix series, we always see these with toys that are based on Netflix series. They put the little Netflix logo on the packaging. So we've got that as well. You've got the Masterverse logo up at the very top there. On one side, you've just got the name of the character. The other side, you've got some pretty cool artwork for Skelegod. And then you get a better look at that artwork on the back of the packaging. And you also get a bio here. So Skeletor lives his life with a singular purpose to control the unlimited power of the entire universe. Not just Castle Grayskull, but the entire universe. Time after time, the Bane of Eternia was thwarted by He-Man and the heroic warriors. What kind of monster would be unleashed should they be unable to stop the Lord of Destruction? Surely a raging storm of horror and terror even the bravest dare not even imagine. So quite the bio there. And then you got to look at the other figures. So again, you've got Battle Cat, which should start hitting Target stores within the next few weeks by the 1st of July, I would say. You've got, it's going to differ a little bit from store to store, but that's when I would expect to start seeing people finding it. And then the He-Man and Mossman, Skeletor, and Evil-Lyn, the regular Skeletor and Evil-Lyn, those are the regular release figures. I do like this artwork. I think it looks pretty cool. I am wondering if Skelegod is actually, just Skeletor powered up, or if he's actually some type of other being. I'm wondering if him becoming the Skelegod version is the catastrophic event that is said to be setting in motion the events of this new series, which is said to also pick up from the original Filmation series. So let's go on and get this open and take a look at the figure inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside of the packaging along with the other contents. Now, as far as accessories go, you get 2 pairs of hands. So you get these grip hands, which you can see are attached to the figure. These are actually not the ones that are attached to the figure when you first take it out of the packaging, but I've already switched them. But the hands that are attached are the open type hands. So these have the like claw type fingers that are kind of sticking out. But if you want him to hold his other accessories that he comes with, you'll need to make sure that you have the grip hands on the figure. So first of all, he gets this energy effect piece. It's done with a green translucent type plastic. And what you do is you just fit it over one of the hands. It doesn't matter which one. But it does stay on there pretty tight. You know, it looks like he's shooting some type of energy ball or such. So I'm sure that's something he does in the show. And then the final accessory that you get with this one is what looks like He-Man's power sword. I'm assuming this is He-Man's. It's his colors. You've got the brown here on the handle. And the rest of the sword is just done with a grayish type plastic. Now, again, I don't know if this is supposed to be, you know, He-Man's sword that Skelegod here has stolen. Perhaps that's how he becomes Skelegod, is he steals He-Man's power sword and then uses it to steal the powers of Grayskull. We'll have to wait until the cartoon comes out and watch to see if that's what happens here. But he doesn't really have a place to store this sword. You know, you might find a way to, you know, someplace to stick it on the figure, but especially with those shoulder pads, you really can't like stick it on his back in any way. And, you know, as long as you have the grip hands on, then he will hold the sword in either hand pretty tight. And you can also, you know, if you want to, you know, articulation wise, the handle's not quite long enough for both hands to grip, but I guess, you know, you can kind of get him into like two hands holding sword poses if you really kind of worked with it. But again, he will hold the sword nice and tight, but if he's not going to hold the sword in his hands, then you'll probably just want to set it aside. Now for the figure itself, overall, I think they've done a pretty good job here. You know, I don't know how you feel about neon green. It definitely incorporates a lot of that throughout the figure, but that doesn't really bother me. That H symbol on his chest is sculpted on there, and then I don't know if that's supposed to be like a take on He-Man symbol. That's what it kind of looks like. So again, I don't, maybe absorbs He-Man's power and this symbol just ends up, you know, appearing on his chest. But it's definitely kind of weird. I like the skin tone here in the midsection where it's kind of a darkish gray, but then you've got some lighter blue undertones to it. So it actually kind of comes off looking like skin. You've got that on the arms as well. He's got like these blue straps on his biceps, but I don't know. Those, you know, look pretty good. But I definitely kind of like this paint application on his chest where they've done a pretty good job of making it look like skin. Now he's got these big giant shoulder pad pieces which have these faces on the sides, again with the green neon eyes, and that's kind of something you see throughout the figure. You know, he's got the, you know, similar type sculpting there with the wrist pieces, and these wrist pieces are separate. You know, if you pop the hands off, these will come off, so just note that those are separate pieces on the figure, and that, you know, can sometimes make it difficult to snap in the hands, but, you know, nothing too big a deal there. He's got this loin type cloth, again with that kind of face. I don't know if that's supposed to be like the same face that's on his Havoc staff. This figure does not come with a Havoc staff, but, you know, you've got the purple loincloth type design there, and then on the front, you know, on the sides, it's more of like armor with black and silver, so that looks pretty good. And then again on the feet, you know, you've got that design with the green neon eyes, and then he's got that classic kind of Eternia pointed toe type design. So overall, that's pretty good. And then with the head sculpt, you know, I think they've done a pretty good job. I like the face, you know, the color of the face, which is kind of an off greenish white, so it gives you that kind of Skeletor feel to it. You also have the lighter white color on the teeth, which make those stand out nicely. He's got the blackened in eyes with the little dots, and then he's got this, I don't know if this is supposed to be a headpiece or something that's actually grown out of him. It looks kind of like it's a headpiece, but it's got the horns, which are done with purple and are textured, again kind of in keeping with his Havoc staff. And then he's got this silver trim up here on the top. So overall, I would say that looks pretty good. Now, if you pop the head off, you can go on and take off these shoulder pad pieces. It is a completely separate piece. You can also, he's got this translucent green around the neck, which you can, it's a separate piece, so you can just pull that off if you want to. If you try and put the head back on without that, the neck ends up looking kind of scrawny, but just know you can't actually take that off. Now with the cape is a soft goods. It is a 3-piece, 3-layer type cape. Actually, this bottom layer, which is the biggest layer, is actually on this side. It's a dark purple, and then on the underside here, they've used a lighter purple. You then have the second layer, which is a darker purple, but then they've added these kind of diamond type plastic pieces, which act as weights to keep the cape down. And then you've got the third layer, which is the shortest layer of the cape, which is done with the lighter purple. And then you've got this plastic piece on this side, and then they've got the 3 layers kind of, I guess, kept together with these silver tabs. At first I thought these were magnets, but they're not. You have these clips here. So the way you keep this cape on the figure is he's got this harness piece, which is a separate piece. You can actually take it off if you want to. I'm not going to, but you can technically take it off. But what you want to do is you just want to take these clips and you just hook it onto the cape. Now, if you want to make sure that the cape is going to stay on there fairly securely, you then have to make sure that you get those shoulder pads over the top of them so that they kind of come down and fit over. Otherwise, that cape will have a tendency to fall off pretty easily. So the shoulder pads kind of keep the cape in place. However, when you start like moving the arms around and everything, which has a tendency to move those shoulder pads, then it becomes much easier for that cape to get knocked off, which can be a little bit of a pain. But overall, I kind of like the design. I know some people don't really like soft goods, but I think it looks pretty good, and it doesn't limit the figure's movement. I think if they tried to do a big like plastic type cape like this, I think it would just weigh the figure down and make it much less posable. So overall, I'm pretty happy with that design choice there. Okay, now this figure stands right about 7 3/4 inches tall if you count to the tip of his head or his helmet, whatever you want to call that. He's about 7 3/4 inches tall. So I do expect that he is taller than a regular Masterverse figure, being that he is a deluxe figure. So I would expect the deluxe or the regular figures in this line to be a little bit shorter. Now, since I don't have any of the regular Revelation figures, this is the only Revelation figure I have at this point, I can't give you a comparison of this new figure with those. But here is a comparison with the most recent Masters of the Universe Origins Skeletor figure that Mattel did, which is more in keeping with the size of the original He-Man figures. And you can see this new deluxe figure is much taller. And then while I can't give you that actual comparison with the regular Revelation figures, here is a look at the Masters of the Universe Classic Skeletor figure along with this new Masterverse version. And then if you collected the Classics line, you can probably intermix these lines together. I think they should work pretty well. Here is the Classics Trapjaw figure. We don't yet have a Revelation Trapjaw. I'm sure he will come eventually. But if you have one of these classic figures of Trapjaw, you might want to use it until we get the Revelation version. And then finally, here's a comparison with the Classics Hordak figure. I'm sure Hordak will eventually show up in this new show as well, or at least I hope he does. But again, until we get a Revelation version, you might want to use the classic version as a stand-in. And just in case if you were wondering, you can actually take the head sculpt from the Origins Skeletor figure or any Origins head sculpt, and it will fit on this Masterverse body. It actually fits on there perfectly. I don't know if that was intentional, but again, if you wanted to match up more classic head sculpts with these newer designs, you can certainly do it. I don't think it really looks that good. The blues are too off and what have you, but technically it does fit on there. And the head sculpts from the classic figures will also fit on these Masterverse figures. It's a little more tighter of a fit. The Origins figures actually fit better, but technically you can squeeze on if you want to use your Classics Skeletor head with this new body. It technically works. Again, the purples don't exactly match up. I don't know if I really like the bright yellow with this figure, but again, technically it will fit on there. Okay, now as far as articulation goes on the figure, so starting with the head, now of course you can remove the shoulder pads and the cape if you want to. The cape will possibly end up falling off while you're posing the figure around anyway, but the shoulder pads actually don't really hinder the movement too much. You can rotate the head all the way around with really no problem. He can look down pretty good. He really can't look back, at least with this, this translucent green piece on the neck. If you took that off, you might get a little more back movement, but I think the figure would look pretty silly if you did that. But he can look straight ahead, definitely. And then you get some pivot with the head sculpt as well. Now with the arms, He can get the arms out pretty good. You just got that standard ball hinge joint there at the shoulder. There's no butterfly joint or anything like that. So pretty basic but standard movement there. He also has a bicep swivel. He's got a double hinged elbow, so pretty good bending there. He's got rotation with the hands, and then he has hinges on the hands, so you get up and down movement with that. He has a midsection joint, but it's not an ab crunch, so you just get a little bit of rotation there at the midsection, and you can pivot a little bit to the left and the right. He really can't crunch forward and just knock the cape off, but he can look back a little bit there at the midsection, but it's not as good as what obviously you would get with like an actual ab crunch. You also with this one get a waist swivel, so you get additional rotation there. The legs, the loincloth side pieces limit a little bit, but he can still do the splits pretty good. He can get his leg forward about that much, which isn't too bad, and he can do the leg back about that much. He has a thigh swivel. He has a double jointed knee. I will say that the joints are a little bit gummy on the figure, but not too bad. I've seen worse, but a little bit of gumminess there. However, the main thing with this figure is right out of the packaging with the ankle joints, which are standard ball hinge joint, so you do get some ankle type pivot and such, and you can rotate, but these were really loose just straight out of the package, and because it's kind of a top heavy figure, it has a real tendency to kind of fall forward or fall back because these ankle joints don't really hold the weight well. So I don't know if that's a common problem with all of them or if it's just something unique with mine, but definitely having those ankle joints be really loose with a big top heavy figure like this is not the best thing for getting him in good standing type poses. And just in case if you're wondering, I've removed that translucent piece around his neck. So he has the kind of neon green paint. I do have a little bit of sloppiness of blue going onto the neck, which you can't really see when you've got that translucent piece on. I don't think it looks horrible if you took that off, but it probably does look a little bit better if you keep the translucent piece around his neck. Okay, so that's my review. Overall, I think this is a pretty solid figure. My only real complaint is with those loose ankle joints. It would have been nice if those were tighter so that the figure would stand more easily. Hopefully that is just a problem with my particular figure and it won't be an issue across the board. But just be wary that, if those ankles are loose when you open yours out of the packaging, you're probably going to have some challenges keeping him standing. Now, this figure has started to again hit Target stores. These Revelation figures are going to be hitting Targets first, and then by August, they should be everywhere. So thanks for watching today's review. I would love to hear your own thoughts about this figure in the comments section below. And if you haven't already, please think about subscribing to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Stay safe out there. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.
Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News message boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great.